Hello, it's Friday, December 1st, and this is my 2 cents. Got a couple questions today. Uh, First off, first question is why uh, why are you a Democrat? Why what do you what causes you to vote Democrat? Okay, I got in a discussion with a friend of mine a couple days ago, and I asked him. I said, "Hey, I said what? Well, first, well, he said something first. He said something conservative, anti-Republican, and I was listening, and I said, "Hey, let's have a discussion here. Tell me?" I said, What is it that you don't like? What is it immigration? Is it the open borders? I mean, you don't want them closed. You want to keep them open. You want illegal immigrants to be able to flow in here at will. You think that that's best for the country?" He said, "Oh, no, 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 no." He said, "No, I don't. I don't think we need to secure our borders. No doubt." I said, "Okay, it's pretty conservative." I said, "But that's." He said, "Well, I'm not a liberal or all Democrat." He said, "I'm in the middle. I'm." So, all right, well, that's fine. I said, well, what about big government? I said, "Do you think the government should be big and taxes should be higher?" And that government should have their hand in most everything. "Oh, no way," he said. "No way. Uh, we don't. Our government's too big. We don't need to be paying higher taxes. It needs to be smaller. They don't need to be in our business. Blah blah blah." It's okay. I said, "Well, what about these sanctuary cities with the immigration thing? You in favor of that?" "No, no. They should. If you're here illegally, you should be gone." "All right, yeah, yeah, yeah." I said, "Well, I said those are some pretty liberal things or conservative things, not something I'm used to hearing from a liberal or a Democrat." And he said, "Well, like I said, I'm moderate. I'm pretty moderate." He said, "I said, okay. Well, I mean, I said, what about strong military? I mean, you think we should have a strong military, or we should downsize our military?" I went, "No." He said, "We need to maintain a strong military presence." He said, "You never know, things like North Korea and so forth. We got to be prepared." I said, "Well, okay, all right." And I said, I hate to tell you this, Ron." I said, "But you sound awful. You sound awful. Republican. You sound awful conservative to me." "Well, no, I'm not." He said, "I'm not." I said, "Well, what is okay?" I said, "What about?" I said, Here's one of the big ones." I said, "What about abortion?" So we'll see there. He said, "There, I believe in the woman's right to abortion." I said, "Okay, that's fair enough." I mean, I said, yeah, I don't. I think it's despicable, but Roe versus Wade, the Supreme Court has ruled it legal. Okay, I have to deal with it. But let me ask you this. I said, "Do you think that the government should subsidize Planned Parenthood for the purposes of abortion?" I mean, come on. Should government subsidize that? Oh, yeah. He said, "Hell no. My tax dollars shouldn't go to that." I said, "You're right. I don't think so either." And this conversation went on for a little while, and just about everything I start giving him that is basically a conservative view, he comes back at me with an agreeing tone, and I'm like, "Dude, why do you vote Democrat?" And he don't really have an answer. He's a blue collar guy. He's a union guy, just like me. Uh, he thinks he's supposed to. That's what he's supposed to do. That's his whole life. Democrat, vote Democrat, vote Democrat. Uh, I tell you, it's not the same Democrat Party that your parents or their parents, grandparents, whatever, grew up with. I'm gonna tell you something. John F. Kennedy, if he was alive today, he'd be a Republican. Ronald Reagan was a Democrat in the early '60s. He switched over to Republican because as he said, the party left him and moved farther and farther left, and it's continued to move further and further left, and it's so far left now you can't even see him. I mean, and getting worse. They're moving so far towards socialism that it's frightening. Uh, but yet, so many people still think that because maybe they're poor, or because they're uh, in a union, or because their parents grew up voting Democrat and hating the Republicans that are all about the rich people. You better take a look around. Start thinking. You know, I don't think Hillary Clinton, who was a Democrat, cares a whole lot about the poor people. Uh, you know, what she's a millionaire, and she's got her hooks in a lot of rich people. I mean, and she ain't giving that money to you. You know, that foundation of hers, that money's for the most part gone in her pocket. Uh, so I mean, that's the question I want to ask you. Why are you a Democrat? Think about it. Look at the issues. Look at the things that the key differences between the parties. I mean, yeah, you may have a couple of things, and if you're a single issue voter, then I guess I understand. But if you're not, you need to look at the whole thing, and if you start finding yourself agreeing with different issues that are conservative or Republican, you need to face the fact that even though that I've been raised and taught that Democrats is the way to vote, it's not anymore. Maybe it was for your family back in the 60s or the 50s or whatever, your parents and grandparents, and you were brought up that way, and that's what you thought. But, it's not the same party. They don't really stand for anything but control. I mean, they want big government. They want to control every aspect of what you do, your health care. They want to control it. That's what Obamacare was about. They wanted that to lead to single payer so that they can control the healthcare industry. Now, what industry has the government ever stuck their nose in that they didn't screw up besides the military? And even the military, they screwed up pretty well in the 70s. And it took Reagan to rebuild the military into the power that it is today. But think about it. The government screwed. They can't even put a website together for Obamacare. The government is not the answer. Socialism, which is where they're heading, is not the answer. We can't. You can't allow people 2,000 miles away, 3,000 miles away, wherever you live in Washington, D.C., to make your decision for you and your family locally. What is best for you? What kind of health care, what kind of everything. I mean, they want to control every aspect of your life. You need to look at each individual issue, see where you fall, what you think. Don't just follow the family line because Grandpa told me that the Republicans are evil. Grandpa told me the Republicans are only for the rich people. I love my grandparents too. We all loved our parents too. And if they were Democrats, mine weren't. But if they were, grandparents were Democrats, I believe. I don't really know. But you're your own person. What's best for you? And I'll tell you, I think you're going to find out that and if I found out time and time again when I've had discussions with people that are Democrats or say they're Democrats, when you start talking about the individual issues, they're not. They come back with the answers that are the same as yours, the same feeling or the same ideals that you have, that I have, for the most part, not everything, but for the most part, and they're saying they're voting Democrat, and you're voting Republican because you want things to go in the country the way you want them to go, and I want lower taxes. I want smaller government. If I want those things, if I want a secure border, if I want illegal immigration ended, sanctuary cities ended, if I want all these things, my Bill of Rights, my Second Amendment right, my First Amendment right, if I want all these things protected, I gotta vote Republican because the Democrats, those Bill of Rights are under attack. They're under attack. You know, the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, the Fourth Amendment. You know, all three of those have been severely under attack the last few years. Think about it. You know, if you want to protect our way of life, if you want to protect our freedoms, the left is not the way to go. So, you know, and the other question I have is what are the liberals? What are you, if you're a liberal or Democrat, what are you afraid of? What are you afraid of with this administration? What scares you? I mean, yeah, okay, Trump's in power, the Republicans are in power, but what scares you about it? I mean, is it the, you know, Trump's an asshole. You know, somebody said to me the other day, I got a talk with somebody the other day, and he said, well, I don't like Trump because, you know, he's an asshole. Yeah, he probably is an asshole, you know, but I don't care, because take a look around. What's going on in this country? Since the election, 2 million, he's created 2 million new jobs. 2 million new jobs have been created in this country since the election. The stock market is well over 24,000 record highs. The GDP the last 2 quarters, well over 3%, a level that Obama said could never be attained again. It's just the new normal is going to be under 3%. You can't get there anymore, he said. Trump did it immediately. You know, the unemployment's at 4.1%, 17-year low. What is bad about that? What's not good about that? What part of that scares you? The economy is booming, and it's going to boom even more if we get reasonable tax relief here. And all Trump did to do this was restore some confidence. Restore confidence. These companies started coming back the minute he was elected. Why would they do that? I mean, he hadn't done anything yet. He wasn't even in power yet. But why would they start coming back? They had confidence. They didn't have confidence prior to that. If Hillary had won, they wouldn't come back because things weren't going to change. They had confidence Trump was going to make changes, and he did the day he got into office. He got rid of thousands of job-killing regulations, and all of a sudden, things start looking up. Jobs start getting created. Stock market keeps rising and rising and rising. People are confident. They're going to have a job. They're going to have, you know, money in the bank. They're going to, you know, not be worried about whether they're going to have another paycheck or get laid off. You know, he's put China on order. He pulled us out of trade deals that you know, were detrimental to job growth. You know, the TPP. He's renegotiating NAFTA. He pulled us out of a horrible climate control deal with Paris, the Paris Climate Accords. You know, that was job killing for us, but nobody else. He's not a globalist. Okay, he's a populist. He is about America. That doesn't make us in isolation. We're not isolationists. We're Americans. We're going to look out for America first. That doesn't mean we're going to ignore the world, but we're going to look out for America first. What part of that scares you? Please, I mean, think about it. Take a look around. Things are much better than they were 1 year ago today. Much better. Why? Well, he's an asshole, and that, you know, he gets on that Twitter and he says things on Twitter, and it's just so stupid. Oh yeah, they are. Some of the things he puts on there are dumb, just stupid. Funny too. Some of them are pretty funny, you know. And I think that's for me, that's one of the things I do like about him, and I think he's funny. You know, I get his sense of humor, and I think a lot of times it is a sense of humor. I think it's just him trying to be funny. You know, and sometimes the joke lands, sometimes it don't. Most of the time with the left, or all the time with the left, it never lands because everything he says is, "Oh my God, oh my God, did you see what he just did? Oh, how could he do that? How could he say Pocahontas in front of those Indians about Elizabeth Warren? Oh my God, that is the most racial slur. That's the biggest racial slur I've ever heard. Are you friggin' kidding me? Come on. That the racist thing was Elizabeth Warren claiming to be uh, a Cherokee Indian when she's not, and has been proved to not be. And the reason she said she was a Cherokee Indian is because her mama, her grandma, told her she has the high cheekbones like the Cherokees. That's why she's Cherokee, because grandma told her she had the high cheekbones. Come on, man. That's the racist part. You know, Trump was just making a joke. And if you watch the video, those code talkers, they weren't in the least bit offended. Not in the least. And one of them, in fact, I read an article where, it didn't offend me. It didn't offend me when they had us yell Geronimo when we jumped out of the plane. Which I thought was funny, When he parachuted out of the plane, we yelled Geronimo. That didn't offend me either, he said. So that is, that's, but think about it. What are you afraid of? This country's on the right track, and still, liberals, especially liberal media, they just cannot ever say, wow, we're doing really well, people. This country's moving in the right direction economically. We're doing well. They won't say it. They can't stand it. They can't stand being wrong about the election. They can't stand being completely blown away by the success so early. And if we could just get some of these rhino Republican people on board and start moving some serious legislation, tax reform, get rid of Obamacare for good, do something more workable. These people on Obamacare that have to buy it, now hopefully they won't have to buy it after this tax reform, but these people are hurting. Okay, when you've got a $5,000 or $6,000 deductible and you need a knee surgery or something, most families can't do it. They don't have the money. They can't do it. So they just suffer in pain. Obamacare is a nightmare. Okay, so anyway, that's my 2 cents today. Those are my 2 questions. Why are you liberal, and what are you afraid of? So that's my 2 cents. Give me a holler. Send me an email, m1ironmike@yahoo.com, m1ironmike@yahoo.com, or Facebook message, or on my YouTube channel. Just let me know what you think. And until next time, adios.